Okay, so in this week's guitar lesson, I want to share some of my absolute favorite go-to licks that I use all the time. These are harmony licks that I work into leads. You can play them actually in rhythm or lead. They're great for comping. They're great for playing a rhythm fill licks. All kinds of use in these. And I use these in country and in blues and in like a slow ballad. And I'm talking about these harmonized thirds that are just, they're all over the fretboard. And once you can visualize them, and that's what I'm going to show you in this lesson, is how to take the fretboard, connect these to chord shapes, and play them. It really can enhance your playing. This is what I'm talking about. These harmonies with embellishments. I'll show you how to add embellishments. And play them all over the fretboard. Once you can see them, you can start working them into your chords as the chords pass by in a song. And I'm going to give an example. I'm going to play a jam track that has 3 chords, and I'll show you how to kind of use these harmonies and connect the chords. It's really cool. So in this video, we'll go through all of that lesson material. I'll show you how to connect the fretboard using these harmonies. There are some extras that come with this lesson. I've got a PDF downloadable that has everything in one sort of easy to look at document. You can print that off if you want. I've also got a jam track and tablature for a little composition that I've put together, and you'll see that at the end of this video where I use all of these harmonies together in a composition. If you want the tab for that, the MP3 jam track, and that downloadable PDF, you can get all of those things for this lesson by going to activemelody.com and doing a search for ML124. Okay, we're going to start off in the key of D. And I'm going to show you this in the different positions of the cage system. I think that's the easiest way. I struggled with the best way to sort of explain this, and this is the easiest way I can think to organize this and how I think about it when I'm playing. So we're going to start with a D chord using the C shape. And it looks like this. You don't have to play this chord if you can't do it. I know some of you struggle with making some of these chords. I'm just showing you where we're at. This is the neighborhood we're going to be starting off in. So inside of this C shape, and remember this is a D chord in the C shape, if I look at strings 1 and 2 and play those with these 2 fingers, my middle and my index finger, that allows me to have these 2 fingers free to make to play some embellishments, which we'll get to. But here's the first idea. That's it, very simple. I'm just going to do a hammer on to the 4th fret 3rd string. And we're only playing strings 2 and 3. That's our first harmony. Now that is on top of this next idea. The next idea is right below it. And to play that, I'm going to bar with my index finger on the 2nd fret. We're going to play strings 3 and 4. And I'm going to do a hammer on to the 4th fret 4th string. And so just for clarity, I'm calling this a lick that's on top of this. Now somebody out there will be confused by that because there's always somebody that goes, no wait, the notes up here are on top of these because you're looking at vicinity. I'm thinking about pitch. These are higher pitched notes, so I'm calling these on top, just to clarify that. Okay, so that's the first idea. Right, now let's move into the next shape. We'll add some embellishments to it in a minute, but the next shape is up here. So we're still staying with our D chord. We're just going to play that same chord across the fretboard in our different shapes. Now I'm in the A shape from Caged. I'm going to look at the top 3 strings, which look like this, and I've got a lick here. And so this lick is the same as the bottom lick here, right? And you can see it looks the same. You're doing that little hammer on, same thing. Doing the bar is there. Now I can't play the thing on top of that because we don't have strings there. So in the A shape, this is the only one we're going to think about, right? We have this in the D shape, and we have this in the A shape. We'll move up to the next shape, which is our G shape. And I just play it like that. I just play part of it. I don't try and do the whole thing. But inside of this shape, we've got the top and the bottom. Same as this. You can see it's the same notes even. It sounds exactly the same. Now you'll notice that it's different because I'm using the bar here, do the hammer on, and then right below that, I'm doing the hammer on again. Why did this one not look like that? You know, I've staggered my fingers here. The reason for that is because of the tuning of the guitar. This B string, our second string, is tuned down a half pitch and we have to compensate by moving up. So that's why this one looks a little different. But once you can understand that concept, this will totally make sense. You go, oh yeah, I see it now. So that we have that. We have that in the A shape. And we have that in the G shape. The next shape up is our E shape. And we have on the top strings, the top two strings, we have that. And then below that, we have the same thing, it's just an octave higher. Now notice I had to compensate again because we have our B string there. So I've got my fingers staggered here, like I did down here. And I'm putting them in this position. 10th fret, 2nd string, 9th fret, 3rd string. And I'm doing a hammer on to the 11th fret, 3rd string. And this may sound confusing, but this is all going to make sense. I'm going to tie it together. You just have to trust me here. So we have top and bottom. The last shape is our D shape. So it's our D chord using the D shape. And we're just going to look at strings 5 and 4. Just going to play that. We're not going to do the one below it. It starts to get too muddy. And so in the A shape, we've only got one. And in the D shape, we've only got one. The other ones, we have two. We have a top and a bottom. Okay, that's the sort of the beginning. That's the prerequisite. It's going to get easier from here because now all we're going to do is we're just going to add some embellishments to that. So the embellishment we're going to add to the top idea goes like this. So look at that. So we do our little hammer on there, and then I use my pinky and come up here to the 5th fret 4th string and grab that, and then I come down with my ring finger and hit the 4th fret 4th string. So all together that first lick looks like that. The embellishment we'll add to the bottom idea goes like this. And there's a lot of meat on this bone. I'm telling you, you can do a lot with this idea. So there's the hammer on that we started with. You can either slide up, sometimes I find myself doing that, or you can use your pinky to play that 5th fret 5th string. Go back to the bar there on the 2nd fret, and then pinky down on the 5th fret 5th string, and then conclude that lick with a hammer on. So altogether that second idea goes. So let's play the top lick with its embellishment, and then we'll play the bottom lick with its embellishment in this C shape. So it'll sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. 2, 3, 4, 1. Let's move up to the A shape now. And we can do that lick just like we did here. Remember, this is the bottom of the two, and we don't have a top for this one. So we've only got one in this A shape. Let's move up to the G shape. We've got the top, and then we've got the bottom. Let's move up to our E shape. And then we have the bottom. Right? Are you starting to see how it's just the same lick and we're just playing it in different spots? And then we'll look at this one, which is only going to be the top. A little out of tune there, that low E string there, but actually it's more of an intonation thing with the way I have this set up. I need to adjust this screw here. But anyway, that is the harmony idea that is played across the fretboard. Now what I want to do now is I want to put on a jam track. It's going to be a slow jam track. We're going to start off with a D chord, and I'm going to just play these ideas over D chord, and I want you to start to hear what you can do with it. Okay, so I have a D chord that's just going to loop over and over again. Let's start down here in this C shape. And we'll start with the top harmony idea, and we'll go from top to bottom. You don't always have to do top to bottom, by the way, but I'm just doing it because the two pieces fit together. They sound good together. So here's the top, and then here's the bottom. Listen to how good that sounds. Let's add the embellishments to that. And then here's the bottom embellishment. Let's play it up here. So this is that A shape. Remember, we only have one here. Now I can get creative with this. I don't always have to just slide into that. I can bend into that note. So I could go. Does that sound cool? Let's come up to the next shape. We'll go to the G shape. Let's come up to our E shape. Right, now here's the bottom. Look at that, I did a little half bend there, just like I did here. But when I do a half bend up here, it bends into the flat 7. So it has a whole different sound when you go into that note. So that blueses it up. Now I'm just giving you all these ideas. These are the ones that I live by, are these little things. Right? And then you got the bottom idea. And then over here in the D shape, I've got just one. So that's the whole fretboard. Let's mix in some pentatonic scale licks to that. Look at that, here's pattern 1. Hopefully you're seeing in this G shape, this top and bottom are inside of pattern 1 of my major pentatonic scale. If I want to blues it up, I can do the minor pentatonic scale. Come back to my major sound. All right, now let's try it with multiple chords. Okay, so now this jam track has the D chord, but it's going to go to a G chord and an A chord. It's going to go to the 4 and 5 chord as well. So let's start off just playing some of these harmonies. I know I'm overdoing the harmony thing, but I really want you to get these sounds in your head. Here's my pentatonic. Now watch this, it's going to the 4 chord, which is my G. What did I do there? Well, there's my G chord using the E shape. There's the top part. Here's the bottom part. We'll come back to it. So now it goes back to the D. Right? There's my little, the top part of the A shape. Now it's going to go to the A chord. Watch this. I can stay in this same area. Why? Because my A chord using the E shape is right here. So I could stay on that same little harmony. See, it went from the A to the D, and that means something different over the D, right? It's the top part of your A shape. So you can start staying on some of these things as the chords pass by, and you'll learn which ones work and which ones don't. So let's go back to the D chord using the E shape. Let's throw in a little blues. Here's the major pentatonic, the D major. Okay, now it's going to the G chord. Look where I'm at. I'm in the top part of my G chord using the A shape. Now I'm going to stay there when it goes to the D. Watch this. Right? Why did that work? Because here's my D chord using the E shape. Are you starting to get it? Like, oh yeah. Here it's going to the A chord. So I went to my A chord using the A shape, A chord using the E shape, D chord using the A shape. So I can use these harmonies all over the fretboard. It really pulls it all together. My major pentatonic scale, look at that, major pentatonic scale box 1. And inside of that, you have this, right? So this is my D major pentatonic scale, and that's in the G shape. All right, now we're going to the G chord. Watch this. That's my G chord using the C shape. Now we go back to the D. Okay, now we go to the A. That's the same thing as this, an octave lower. The C shape. I can stay in that same neighborhood when it goes to the D chord. It's the same, it's the bottom part of this, right? So you can repurpose some of these things. Hopefully you're getting that. All right, well, hopefully you're starting to see the value in these harmonies and how they can, first of all, help you really learn the fretboard. If you've been struggling with trying to understand your fretboard and the whole cage thing and getting your chord shapes, remember there's only 5 shapes, so it's not like this massive number, but this is a really good way to learn those. And also remember that these harmonies are not just something you only use when you're playing lead. They're actually even better in some ways for rhythm, for like rhythm fills. So if I was playing, we'll go back to D. So if I was playing a D chord, more of an up tempo. Look at that little fill lick. So what I was doing there was that there's the top, there's the bottom, and then you got the embellishments, right? So I was just, look at how that fits with a rhythm. And so I could play all of them. I could play all over the fretboard. You've got all these options now. You go to the 4 chord. It really can enhance your playing. You could do this in a slow blues. I'm making this up, by the way. I'm just improvising this. But if you're playing a slow blues in E, I could come up here and go, actually it'd be better. Right? There it is. There's my E chord using the E shape. Or here it is down here. So it works in all styles. It's not just a slow country ballad thing. Even though it sounds kind of like a pedal steel lick, these harmonies are super useful. And to me, they're like Legos that are essential. It's more, Legos a bad example. It's more like a Swiss Army knife. And these are like the tools I use all the time. So I hope you've enjoyed this week's lesson. Remember, I do have a little song that I've put together using the 3 chords, and I've tabbed it out. I'll play this here right at the end of this so that you can hear what that sounds like. If you want to get the tab for that, and you want to get the MP3 jam track for that, so you can practice playing everything, and also get the PDF downloadables that I have for this, so that you can, print them off if you want, or whatever, download the file. You can get those. It's just a great sort of little refresher if you want to get back into this and try and figure out where those shapes are. Put them all into one document to make it easy for you. All right, well, you can get those things by going to activemelody.com and doing a search for ML124. That's the lesson number for this lesson. All right, if you haven't liked my YouTube channel, I put out lessons like this every week, and I've been doing it for like 15 years now, and I never miss, always do, and they're always around the same topic, which is improvising. It's all the things that I've learned, and I just want to share this stuff. So if you like this, you subscribe to my channel, and then click the alert bell so you can be notified when I put out new lessons, and also give me a thumbs up. All right, we'll see you next week for something new.